Hello, everyone, and welcome to our Vegan Spirituality online gathering. My name is Lisa Levinson, and I'm co-hosting this with Judy Carmen, who you may also see in the spaces if you're online, and also with our special guest today, Kari Bagnall. If you're on the phone, you'll be hearing more about everyone in just a few minutes. So again, thanks to everyone for joining us today. We're super grateful to have this online space to gather and connect and really explore what does it mean to be vegan and how to be vegan as a spiritual practice. So this Vegan Spirituality online gathering came about as part of our effort to create groups across the country that gather together and explore vegan spirituality as well. They have potlucks and they have guest speakers and do spiritual practices such as meditation. And we just wanted to expand this so that we could share it with people who lived in all different parts of the country. If you're curious about the local groups, you can visit veganspirituality.com and find out if there's a group near you. And if there isn't one, you're welcome to contact us at veganspirituality@gmail.com to start one. We can help you out to start one on your own and create a community that you can meet in person. But for now, we're having this wonderful opportunity to meet online across many miles. And I have a couple of announcements for you. First of all, this effort is part of the Sustainable Activism Campaign for In Defense of Animals. And we had a wonderful experience at the Animal Rights Conference recently. Judy and I and Thomas Jackson, who was our featured guest a couple months ago with his Compassion Project, we held a meeting for vegan spiritual and religious leaders at the AR conference. And we were so fortunate to have almost many people join us, and we had a great discussion and brainstorming session about how we can encourage religious and spiritual leaders in our own communities to adopt veganism as part of their spiritual practices. So we're looking forward to continuing this initiative and forming a coalition. If anybody here is interested, please let us know. You can do so in the chat box or send an email. Again, you can email us at veganspirituality@gmail.com or through In Defense of Animals at our Sustainable Activism campaign. So again, thanks to everyone for joining us. We're super excited about the program today. We also have a very special announcement, and Kari is part of that because she is the founder of Jungle Friends Primate Sanctuary in Florida, and that is the location for one of our upcoming vegan spirituality retreats. So we're super excited to have Kari here today, and I'll let Judy, my co-host, tell you a little bit more about her.
Hi, everybody. I'm Judy Carmen, the author of Peace to All Beings, and I have the Circle of Compassion.org with Will Tuttle and Madeline Tuttle, which is where we say a prayer every day at noon for the animals around the world. And so I'm really, really glad to be here and glad to welcome Kari and the AR Animal Rights Conference that Lisa was talking about was just amazing. And we really met some great people, and I think things are really going to get even more exciting about vegan spirituality and reaching out to people of faith. But let's get on to Kari. She is the founder and executive director of Jungle Friends Primate Sanctuary, which is a nonprofit organization offering a safe haven for monkeys in need of permanent sanctuary care. Kari owned her own interior design business and was volunteering as a court-appointed special advocate for abused and neglected children when a pet monkey named Samantha was placed in her care in 1993. Soon after Samantha came into Kari's life, more monkeys followed, and Jungle Friends Primate Sanctuary was born. Kari was introduced to a vegetarian lifestyle nearly 40 years ago when she moved into a yoga ashram in Phoenix, Arizona, while in high school. Today, vegan communal living is a part of the Jungle Friends experience for interns and volunteers from around the world. As a part of the sanctuary culture, people are encouraged to practice dynamic harmlessness and have compassion for all of Earth's remarkable inhabitants. Jungle Friends is home to nearly 300 New World monkeys and provides permanent, high-quality sanctuary care for abused or unwanted monkeys from around the U.S. who have been surrendered from the exotic pet trade, rescued from research, or confiscated by authorities. So, Kari, welcome. We're so honored to have you join us, and I know everybody is excited to hear from you. So I thought we'd maybe start out by asking you to tell us about your journey to veganism nearly 40 years ago. You were really ahead of the time. What was that like?
Well, because I lived at the yoga ashram where everyone was vegetarian there, and we had our own food and, everything right there, it was pretty easy. And then, of course, I was in high school, so we all remember our high school days, kind of a crazy person. So I didn't stay at the ashram, ended up moving out, and I kind of describe it as, in a nutshell, I went from hippie to yuppie to back again. So it's been kind of a journey kind of like this. And so, in those days you didn't even know about factory farming. I don't even know that there were factory farming 40, 50 years ago. But now just, it's so easy, I think, now to be vegan and live that kind of lifestyle, not only because it's so much easier to get vegan foods and things, which it is, but because our eyes are opened now. I always say you can't unring the bell. Once you've seen the horrors that go on in factory farming, you can't unsee it. So for me, with the hidden cameras and things that we now have eyes into what really goes on, I don't know why there aren't more vegans, truthfully. We need to spread the message, of course, a lot further and reach a lot more people, which is what we try to do at Jungle Friends. We have monkeys came into my life, nothing planned, just this happened. And now we have a lot of monkeys, and the good thing about it is people have said, well, what are you really doing as far as making a difference in the lives of just these few hundred monkeys? I said, well, in the big picture. I said, well, I can't even look at the big picture. It's too big. It stops people sometimes to look at everything. So I tell people, just do what's right in front of you and do the best you can with happening in front of you, and what was in front of me were monkeys. So that's how that kind of came about. And then at the sanctuary, we're a vegan organization, so you cannot, bring animal products onto the property. And we have communal dinners, and everyone has to take turns in cooking, and we all help each other learn how to make vegan meals. And I am not the best cook in the world, but I make a mean veggie chili. So, there are things anyone can make, and then they find out it's not just a veggie burger or fake hot dog. There's all these amazing fruits and vegetables that no one had ever even heard of before. So they're, opening up to a lot of other amazing, wonderful foods. And we've literally had meat eaters come to Jungle Friends as interns and left as militant vegans and changing the school lunch program and, doing amazing things. So, I'm just really fortunate to be able to live at the sanctuary with hundreds of monkeys around me and all these amazing people, so I'm just really happy that I have the life that I have. I'm fortunate.
That's wonderful. It's wonderful that you feel that way and you're doing so much good. And not just taking care of the monkeys, but also demonstrating veganism, the life of dynamic harmlessness. Well, tell us about Samantha and how she ended up in your care. How did that happen? And when was that?
Okay. Well, she will be 24 December 18th. So she came into my life when she was a tiny baby. An ex-boyfriend bought a pet monkey. He had talked about buying a monkey or a chimp for about a year. I talked him out of it for a year. Mm-hmm. And then I'm from Las Vegas, and he found a breeder in Las Vegas that was selling monkeys. They said, I found a monkey. We've got to go and see this monkey. I'm like, oh, my gosh. All right, we'll go see the monkey. So we go, and out of the room comes a standard poodle with this tiny little 4-month-old baby white-faced capuchin on the monkey's back, just clinging on the dog's back, just clinging to the dog. And he said, oh, my goodness, how old is the monkey? And the breeder said she was born December 18th, 4 months ago. And the ex-boyfriend said, oh, my gosh, it's an omen. That's my birthday. We must get this monkey. So that's how it started. And so in those days, there was no internet, there was no Google, there was no, what do I do? And she literally was clinging to my body. She lived on my body. The first thing I taught her was how to trade arms so I could get dressed. She took a shower with me every day. She was in the shower and she was just on my body. And that's how they live in the wild with their families. So I thought that that's how she should live on me, and she did. But then she started kind of, getting off me a little bit, and I did have an interior design business, so I would try to hide. I taught her how to hide. I'd say, hide, Sammy, hide, and she'd jump into my shirt. I could go to my job without too many people seeing her. But eventually I was escorted out of some of the nicest places and never to return. So I decided she needed a friend. So I called the breeder and said, I really need a friend for Samantha. Do you have any other monkeys? She said, well, Samantha happens to have a biological sister who is for sale. I said, okay, and they're very expensive. So I said, could I help you and work it off, and help you around, and maybe I could learn more about monkeys, because I had no clue what I read with Jane Goodall books. So he said, sure, you can come and help me. So I was there that one day. Me and my girlfriend were there, who is now my vice president. We were helping around there. She had a monkey, too, from the same breeder. And he said, would you like to help me pull a monkey? And I'm like, what does that mean? I don't know. I guess. He said, well, I've got to pull a monkey. Why don't you come and help me? Okay. So we went, and this changed my life. There was a mother with a baby on her back. He threw a net over the mother, reached in with a gloved hand, and pried the baby monkey away from the mama. Screaming, baby screaming for mama, mother monkey screaming for her baby. Stole the baby right off of the mother, screaming. And my girlfriend and I looked at each other like, oh my God, this is wrong. This can't be. And we told him, what are you doing? And he said, do you still see me? Because my computer went off. Maybe it will come back.
We can see you.
We can see you.
Yeah. So anyway, it came down. I said, what are you doing? This isn't right. He said, well, my father was the breeder. He died. I'm just kind of taking care of things for him. And I'm going to be selling them all at an animal auction. Anyway, they're all going to be sold, auctioned off. And I'm like, what? I said, how much for everybody? And he didn't just have monkeys. There was a miniature horse, I think some birds and some miscellaneous. And I said, how much for everyone? And $27,500. I said, here's my charge card. I'm buying everyone. So, and of course, I'm living in a regular house, in the, a little suburb. And so I'm like, oh, now what do I do? So I'd go back and forth to his house chopping produce and feeding the animals until I could figure out what I'm going to do. So I found an acre of land in Las Vegas and bought that and built for the monkeys and moved everybody out to this little acre of land up on the way to Mount Charleston and lived there until about 98, because Sam was born, I think, in 93, so I lived there till 98, 99. I moved the monkeys to Florida. It was so dry. If you know Las Vegas, it's a dry heat. Everybody says, oh, but it's a dry heat. Put your head in the oven at 1 and tell me that's great. So it's really hot. Their little noses would bleed. Their fingers would bleed because they'd crack. It was so dry, and they're built for hot, humid climates. So my first choice was Costa Rica. Second choice was the Caribbean islands, looked into Panama, and there was nowhere the monkeys could go. So we ended up in Florida. I've never had been to Florida before, but it was tropical, and so that's how we ended up in Florida. So we moved all of the monkeys. We found someone donated their Cessna plane, and we loaded up everybody. I had a dog, a couple birds, a cat, and 13 monkeys. So we got in the Cessna plane with the vet and the pilot and myself we took out all of the seats, so I laid across of all of the crates so they could all see me, and so they wouldn't get nervous, because the planes are really loud. The little planes are really loud and scary. So we got them all to Florida, and then here we are now, 300 monkeys. So that's kind of a long story, but that's how it started.
What a story. What a hero you are. So
Sure, honestly.
You got more monkeys, obviously, after that, and some of them have come from labs and the pet monkey trade as well. So you've just become known as a sanctuary, and yeah.
Yeah, we have the monkeys who have been used in laboratory research right now. And right at this moment, there are 3 labs on my waiting list that are hoping that their monkeys can come here. And we've got miscellaneous pet monkeys. We also have monkeys who are in entertainment. Like, take your picture with the monkey. Don't ever get your picture taken with the monkey if you see anyone with a monkey. What they do is they pull out all their teeth. We have so many toothless monkeys, and they pull out their teeth, and they do a picture with the monkey, or organ grinder monkeys, where they go and beg. We have one little girl, Coco, who just claps and asks for money, and that's what she had done. And then they have these horrific monkey rodeos now, where they pull out all the monkeys' teeth, they literally chain them on the backs of dogs, and think it's really cute to run a little race. And the dog, I've seen videos of the dogs falling and rolling, and the monkeys are chained to their backs. They can't even escape. And it's really a horrible, horrible thing for these poor monkeys to do, these monkey rodeos. So don't go to any monkey rodeos. Protest the monkey rodeos. So so that's what mostly laboratory research, and then expats are the next biggest category, and then monkeys and entertainment, and then some that were confiscated, some that were just found. Some monkeys were running loose, and they found the monkey running loose. They're escape artists, so they can get out of just about anything, and they're all under lock and key. If they had the key, they'd get out. So, and then we had, Mongo recently. I got a call from a woman who was on a rest stop, and said that she saw someone drive by, and they put out a kennel at the rest stop and kept going. So in her mind, she's like, oh my gosh, there's probably puppies in there or something, So she went to see, and here's Mongo, a monkey. And he had no teeth and no testicles, so we're assuming he was a pet or in entertainment. And a long story about how he got to Jungle Friends, but he is at Jungle Friends now, made a good friend in April. And April also has no teeth, and she was one of the take your picture with the monkeys, traveling around to carnivals and stuff. So we've got a wonderful match there. So, it's amazing how these monkeys turn up everywhere.
Yeah. So people can call you if they hear about a monkey, and at least get some advice about what to do. Right. Okay. Well, but you're going to have to expand, it sounds like, to take in more of the lab monkeys.
Yes, and we have 44 acres, so we have the room to expand. We just don't have the money or the care staff. So we need money and staff first, and then we can, that's why we've got so many on our waiting list, because we are trying to fundraise and build for more monkeys and hire more people to help us serve them.
And people can go to junglefriends.com to donate. .org. Okay.
.org.
Well, so Kari, this has been heartbreaking work. It sounds like heartbreaking and heart-touching work. And because people are tuning in as a vegan spirituality thing, I'm wondering how you cope with the sadness and the awful things that you hear about and the injured monkeys that you take in. How do you cope with that, and do you have a spiritual path that helped you cope?
I cry a lot. One thing that helps me cope is I look out my window, out every window in my trailer, I see monkeys. So I see the difference that I've made. But I'm really fortunate to have Temple of the Universe, which is like 7 miles up the road from us, where Mickey Singer started Temple of the Universe. He wrote The Untethered Soul. I don't know if you've read it, but he has, they do the Sri Atma Gita every morning, and they have spiritual talks several times a week. They have meditation every morning and every evening, and they do arti every evening. They also have hop yoga classes. Everything is free. And then they have big vegetarian potlucks for Christmas. I mean, there they celebrate Christmas and Hanukkah and Easter and Passover and everything. So they're all paths lead to the same place. Pick a path, So it's, and he has a lot of masters on the wall who he honors, who we all honor in the temple. And, everyone from, Jesus to Sai Baba, just all kinds of great masters. So that helps me focus and be okay, because my problem is I hear about horrible things and I want to go fix it right now, and I want it fixed right now. So I'm just trying to, struggling with forcing things to be the way I think they need to be right this minute. And Mickey is always, just the universe is going to unfold, and, you need to be calm and focused before, and then you can make a difference. But if you go, crazy person, which I get, you hear about something and you're like, you have to just sit back and just relax, take a deep breath, meditate, try to meditate as often as I can, and just meditate, think about the situation, and then I'm able to do so much better than just letting myself go off and go be crazy monkey lady, who's, so this spirituality has taught me to I have to sit back and relax, take a deep breath, center myself, and then I can see, what there is to do, if anything, or if there's, what there is to do while I'm clear and conscious and able to better serve. We're all it's all about serving others, other than ourselves, no matter who you're serving, whether it's monkeys or farm animals or other people or children. If we all live in service, then those are the happiest people. They have done studies on that. They are the happiest people.
That's true. Yeah.
So
I've read that when you're angry, that you're not thinking clearly, which is what your spiritual teacher is talking about. Is you have to get calm before you can know what to do next. Are you there, Kari?
I'm here. Can you hear me?
Oh, good. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Now I hear you. Yeah. So, Kari, that was really uplifting, what you just told us about the temple and the help that brings you. It makes so much sense. And I think all of us are seeking something like that to bring us peace so that we can be calm and get clear about what our path is, what we're supposed to do for the animals. So what advice do you have for our vegan spirituality community about staying motivated and holding on to hope for a compassionate world to break through?
Well, I'll tell you one thing that a lot of activists have found was helpful for them, because a lot of activists, it's all on paper and it's on the, on the internet, and they read things and see horrible images all the time, and that's their work. They aren't able to look out the window like I can just look out my window and see the monkeys. So I've been encouraging activists, and we have one group that comes every year to see the monkeys. But I believe that activists, whether you come to Jungle Friends or go to a farm sanctuary, go somewhere where there are rescued animals and see what kind of a difference the way you're living is making for those animals, and get to know them and care for them, and rub a pig's belly, or hang out at a shelter or a sanctuary or anywhere. I think that gives me so much comfort to be able to go out. I've got these monkeys on the waiting list, and I'm trying to figure out where they're going to go and how I'm going to get the money and what grant I'm going to write, and get crazy. And then I just go, okay, let me go out and see my monkeys, and go out and visit, and then it's just so, I go, okay, well, maybe can't save every single monkey, but I made a difference to that one and that one and that one. So we're starting to do a lot more with having activists come out. We're doing screenings at the sanctuary, and having potlucks, and having things. Speakers are going to be doing the vegan spirituality retreat out here. So we want to do more of that, where activists can come out and work, and just join right in with us, help us feed the monkeys and clean the habitats, and plant and mow, and see the monkeys. So I think that or any of the animals at any sanctuaries, I think that if activists could get out and see the fruits of their labor, that might be helpful. And of course, meditation. I need to meditate more. I always tell myself, I tell everyone, meditate more.
Yeah, but that makes a lot of sense, Kari. And I think that's really right. Anybody that can, and if you can't get to a sanctuary, there are videos online of sanctuary animals that are free, and those are real uplifting too. So that's something people could do if they can't get to a sanctuary. But that's a wonderful idea, and great what you're doing to get more activists there and see, like you said, the fruits of their labor. Because we're all working to empty all the cages.
Right.
So, anything else, or shall we open up to questions?
We can open up to questions if you like.
Okay. Lisa?
Okay, so what I'll be doing is I will switch the presentation here to what's called the Q&A mode, which means that folks on the phone or online can ask questions if you'd like to. And you can also ask questions in the chat box. So you'll hear a little announcement.
All attendees are muted and may unmute themselves by pressing *6.
So that means if you're on the phone, just press *6 to join our conversation. Or if you're online, you can actually go to the microphone, the icon, and press that, and you'll be able to speak with us as well. I think someone's trying to join us.
Oh,
Hi there. What's your name?
My name?
Yes.
My name is Tamara Bragg. I didn't have specific comments on tonight, but I did have to share with animal lovers tonight.
You have something to share? Is that what you said?
Yeah, I didn't know if anybody heard about it. It's the first time I've heard about it today. It's you go to Long Haul, LONGHAUL, pro.org, and it's a story about a man that built a dog chapel in England. It's a beautiful place to see, and they gave you a 360-degree view of it. I just wanted to share it because it's so beautiful.
Wow.
Oh, yeah. And how do you spell
Thanks
that
so
again?
much.
LOMD or LONG?
It's L as in Linda, A as in Orange, N as in Nancy, G as in George, H as in Henry, A as in Apple, U as in Umbrella, L as in Linda, P as in Paul, R as in Randy, O as in Orange.org.
Okay. Wonderful. We'll have to check that out. Thank you so much.
You're welcome.
Thanks, Tamara. Thank you so much for joining us. Tamara, actually, she has such wonderful suggestions. She and I have been dialoguing a little bit, and she has so many resources that are spiritual in nature from across the country. So thank you so much for joining us. We really appreciate it.
Yeah.
You're welcome. There was one other one I might add. If anybody wants to look in San Diego, there's a place called, because I'm looking for an animal ministry church. I just found it today. It's called Dog Ministry. It's called Dog Lovers Ministry. And they're in San Diego. They have 115 churches.
Wow.
Wow.
That's amazing. Wow. Dog Ministry Church.
Dog Lovers Ministry.
Dog Lovers Ministry. Okay. Great. Thanks.
Awesome. I got that one. I didn't get the spelling for the other one, but I did get that one. So that's fabulous.
The spelling for the other one again?
Why don't you tell me just the name, and I can look it up.
There's different ways of looking at on the search engine. You can look for Dog Mountain. I love the story. You can look for it that way. And
Okay,
you can
great.
look for it under Dog Mountain, England, Vermont. You can look at it that way, or you can look for longhaulpro.org.
Long Haul Pro. Yeah. Okay.
It's so neat. Inside the chapel, all over the walls, they've got people that have sent in prayers and memorials for their animals that have passed away, and the walls are just filled with memorials and pictures.
Very sweet.
Wow. Thank you so much. Actually, that's part of when we do our vegan spirituality retreat, a part of the ritual that we do together includes honoring animals who are companion animals who've passed over. So it's a really special and kind of sacred opportunity. So thank you for sharing it with us about these cool things that are going on around the world. Really, it's awesome to know that.
Yeah, maybe y'all can collaborate with these people over there, because you can join up with them.
Great. Well, we'll check into it. Judy and I are trying to compile some interesting resources, so we will do that. Okay. So thank you. And
I'm just going to find the phone number for a resource in my area. There's one near me, and I forgot the phone number. I can't find it.
Okay. Thank you, Tamara. We may need to move you because there's a lot of background noise coming on, but I'm so glad that you joined us.
I live right in the heart of Drill Avenue and North Avenue, right where Freddie Gray was murdered.
Yeah, we're picking up on
I have to work as a single mother.
Let's see. So, Tamara?
Well, first of all, that's your son right next to you.
Got something going on in the background.
Got it. Okay.
There, okay.
Thanks, everyone. There's a couple of other questions here, so I'm noticing in the chat box.
I'll
so
read
I'll
them.
share a couple of them. We've got
Lisa,
one says.
want me to read them? You want me to read them, Lisa?
Sure, that's fine.
Lisa's
There's
got a little cough. So. One of them is, I have a question about the monkeys that Kari's rescued. Does she spay neuter? And how does she keep them from reproducing?
Okay, well, we vasectomize all of the males because that's a lot less invasive than doing anything to the females. And by vasectomizing them rather than castrating them, they can still have that enrichment.
Okay. Okay, good to know. And then this other question that someone put in the chat box. It's a stressful conundrum as a rescuer when animals are in need or danger and people want money for them because you don't want to perpetuate the business of the breeders. Let's see, there we go. But you also want to help the animals. How do you navigate that, Kari?
Well, you really can't purchase animals. When I bought all of the animals that this breeder had, he was not staying in the business. He was going to auction them all off. This was back in the 90s. Also, I didn't even know any better. All I knew was I didn't want them to go be auctioned. And he was a school teacher. So it wasn't like I was perpetuating the business, the industry, but it is now. I have people that call and say, I don't want my monkey anymore. I paid $10,000 for the monkey. I'll sell this monkey to you for $2,000. We don't purchase monkeys. Yeah, and it's hard. I have people that have been they were in Suriname doing studies. They had capuchins there, and someone came, they sold them there for like $30 for baby capuchins, but they would shoot the mother and sell the babies, eat the mother, sell the babies, and we would tell people that were at the field study. I wasn't at the field study, but I knew students who were, and they wanted to go buy them all and release them back to the jungle, and the professors and people that were in the field study said, you can't do that, because if you buy them, then good business, we'll go shoot some more mothers with babies and take them. So you perpetuate that. So it's so hard. I mean, I don't know what I would do if I saw, a box full of babies like that. I mean, thank God I never saw it. But you can't do it. It's hard to not. How do you not? But it will perpetuate the business. So it's tough. That's a tough one. Or when labs call and say, these monkeys have to be out of here in 2 weeks, or we're going to euthanize them. I hate even using the word euthanize, because euthanize for a healthy animal is murder. So, when I can't take them, there's nothing that I can do. I've tried to fundraise it, and they've given me not enough time. And, I call back, how's it going? And, well, they killed them. So that's tough too, but you can only do what you can do, so it's hard. As a rescuer, it sounds like you're a rescuer, and it's hard to do that, but you just do the best you can. You do as much as you can, for as many animals as you can, and there's so many animals in need, so many dogs and cats who are killed every day, over 100,000 monkeys in research, and you just do the very best you can, and that's all that you can do.
Yeah, some of the farm animal rescues are able to find homes for some of the farm animals, which opens up a space for the next rescue. But with your situation, it doesn't sound like you can send the monkeys anywhere. They need to stay with you, right?
When I first got into the monkey business, I told people you have to take 2 or more, you have to give them an indoor-outdoor habitat, and I showed them how to build and what exactly they needed, and if they could do all of that and take 2 or more monkeys that I'd socialized to their home, I did that, in the early 90s. Okay. They're all back now. I have every one of them back. It's just not something, they live to be in their 50s, the capuchins do, so got monkeys that are going to outlive me. So it just doesn't work to find homes for the monkeys in a regular, in a house that they just don't work out in the living room.
Yeah. Yeah. So, wow. But there are other primate sanctuaries, right?
There are, and they're all
Can you
full.
work with them? They're all
We
full.
do work. They're all full. We work with GFAS, which is Global Federation for Animal Sanctuaries, which is who accredits us and other sanctuaries, farm animals, all animals. And then I'm on the steering committee of North American Primate Sanctuary Alliance, which is called NAPSA. And so we get to, when one of us hears, right now I just heard of 6 macaques that need a home. They're old world monkeys. We don't take macaques. I am looking for these 6 macaques that are getting out of laboratory research that were in drug studies, and there isn't anywhere. There is no space anywhere. Now, unless we can purchase some more land in some cases, build habitats, build buildings. So just, for example, for these monkeys, I did the cost analysis for getting their ages and what their average lifespan was, and just for these 6 monkeys getting out of this lab, and some of them are elderly, it was going to be $230,000 just for lifetime care. Now we need to build. So there's a lot of money involved, and we can't raise it. We have wonderful supporters who send, they sponsor monkeys, send in $10 a month or $25 a month, or, send in their monthly donations sponsoring monkeys, and we get support that way. But when it comes to hundreds of thousands of dollars to take in all of the monkeys, we need to find a new paradigm, really. We need to figure out, really, the laboratories and universities have got to start taking responsibility for these monkeys that they put into this situation. And by law, they have to test on a rodent, then a monkey, then a human. Those are the laws. We have to change some laws, obviously, and then we can get the monkeys out. But they need to take some responsibility, and some of the labs and universities are, I'm happy to say, but not all, like 2. So it's not, a lot are able to do lifetime care, but we're moving in that direction, because the people who call me from the labs that want the monkeys released are the veterinarians, the technicians, sometimes the researchers. So they don't want to kill the monkeys, but there is no money built into the grant to do the research. So we're talking to people that you want to get a grant to do research on monkeys, or you have to because of this drug or that drug, then you have to build in retirement for the monkeys. So trying to collaborate with the labs, which is what I've been doing for 10 years, working with the labs and working with the researchers. Now, I don't want to see a monkey in a lab, in the living room, in a zoo, anywhere. I think monkeys belong in the wild and nowhere else. But here I am with 300 monkeys at the sanctuary. I wish that we didn't have to have primate sanctuaries, but we do. So we all need to work together and understand all the different components of what goes on and what, how this happens and how we can remedy the situation and how we can stop the abuse. And just like the pet monkey thing should be a no-brainer, really, but up the states you can still go buy a pet monkey or a pet tiger, So we need to start changing some laws. That's the bottom line. We need to change laws. We need to have zoos where children can't get into the gorilla habitat, so a gorilla is shot to death. There's a lot wrong with the system, with everything, but there's also a lot of people that are working to right the situation. So I really feel, sometimes it feels like we take 2 steps forward and one step backwards, or we're not moving at all. But I do feel that we are going to see an end to eating animals for sure. I just think that is going to stop. I really do, because I can't see it going on. because we're going to reach the tipping point, just like with anything with slavery. The tipping point wasn't the majority. It was a certain percentage of people, and then it was wrong. Do we still have slavery? Yes. Does everyone really know that it's wrong? Yes. So I think that's what's going to happen with the animals that are being served as food. I think it's going to be something that people know it's wrong. Will people still do it? Yes, but will they hide when they do it? I hope so. I think that I feel like I think we're going to see that change. We're already seeing animals getting out of circuses, and elephants getting out, dolphins with blackfish. So a lot of stuff is coming into mainstream right now, and a lot of vegan options everywhere. So I really feel like we're moving in the right direction. So I'm always, Pollyanna, I'm called a lot of times, but I do feel that way. Do you feel like we're moving in the right direction?
I do, yeah, and I do think we're reaching a tipping point, and there was a lot of talk about that at the Animal Rights Conference, a lot of optimism that we are getting very close to that time when it suddenly becomes obvious to everyone that we cannot kill animals anymore. And then we're going to see all these terrible abuses of animals become clearly wrong by everyone. But it's going to be a leap of consciousness, I think. But, if it weren't for your sanctuary and the elephant sanctuary and some of the other sanctuaries that exist now, we couldn't be liberating these animals. There wouldn't be any place for them to go if they can't go back to the wilderness because of the way they were raised or whatever. And so I just applaud you and all the sanctuaries for making that possible. I think that has helped move human consciousness forward in a huge way because animals can actually be liberated now and taken out of labs and out of zoos and all of that. So thank you, Kari, for being there and having the vision to do this.
Well, it certainly sounds like you were called to do it. This was a very synchronistic experience that you had, and
wasn't my idea.
Profound moment. Yeah, it's so cool. And actually, I wanted to comment on something else that happened at the Animal Rights Conference. We actually participated in a panel discussion about vegan spirituality, and we were so amazed, Judy and I, to see that there were 100 people in the audience. It was so profound to see the interest, the level of interest in exploring veganism as a spiritual path and looking at all the aspects of veganism that are aside of diet, and looking at the moral and ethical and spiritual parts. So we do think that as this movement continues to grow, so will the spiritual aspects, and we'll come back to some of our roots here and encourage, many, many more people to embrace compassion for all living beings.
Yeah. It was really, really wonderful. So, do we have any other questions?
Yes, I have a question.
Wonderful. What's your name?
Marlene.
Marlene?
Marlene?
Yes.
Hi.
Hi, thank you so much. I want to say thank you to Lisa and Judy for this call and the work with vegan spirituality and all the vegan activists, and for Kari with her beautiful sanctuary. And when I hear about all the atrocities and then all the noble people who are doing all the work to rescue the animals and save them and give them sanctuary, I think that what's really important is the paradigm shift, and Kari mentioned that earlier. And I think that without a paradigm shift, there is no hope. And I think what's essential to the paradigm shift that is each and every person, as well as every sanctuary, whether it's the elephant or the dogs and cats or the farmed animals or the monkeys, that the sanctuary itself publicly gives a call out for veganism, asking people to go vegan. That is on the website. It's at the sanctuary. It's on the literature. because without that, this terrible wheel of suffering is going to continue. And also, too, with the churches, those temples and the dog and cat temple that the other woman was talking about, unless every spiritual group calls out for veganism, it's going to be horrendous still. So I just want to say thank you, and to also encourage everyone to give a clear and concise, continuous call out for people to become vegan. Thank you.
Great.
Thank you, Martha.
Advice. Mm-hmm.
Beautifully said.
Yes.
You have any other
thank you
questions?
so much. And I was wondering, Kari, do you run into that where there are other sanctuaries? Do many of them support a vegan path, or?
Sadly, not enough. And we've gone around and around this issue with our accrediting agencies. One was TAOS that came before GFAS, and we tried. Some of us tried to. And this was probably 15 years ago, tried to say that if you're having a public event, it has to be vegan. Because it was meat eating, there was all kinds of craziness going on. And we said, we don't believe, a lot of us felt that way, but we weren't the majority, 15 years ago, that I said, if we are supporting our own animals, I have monkeys here, I'm not going to serve a dog or a cat or a cow or a pig, and no one should. And it should be vegan, and we fought back and forth about it. It ended up being vegetarian. It was what the consensus finally came to. We did not win that battle to do veganism with all the public events, but now all the public events are either vegetarian or vegan for every sanctuary that I believe is accredited, that you cannot serve any animals at the event. I'm still hopeful that will change to veganism. I guess I don't understand. How are you a sanctuary when you're not promoting veganism? It doesn't make sense to me. It's crazy, but it is that way, and I don't understand it. But we are always fighting. There are vegan sanctuaries. There are vegan, and it's not just farmed animal sanctuaries. It's monkey sanctuaries and rehabilitators and places who. I know the founders are vegans, and they promote veganism. Some allow meat eating at their sanctuary where I don't. I consider the sanctuary sacred, and we don't allow anything like that here. So I think more and more people are going to start doing that, but the caller was exactly right. If everyone, as sanctuaries, or whether you're a shelter, and working toward any kind of an animal cause, we all have got to get on the same page and speak with one voice about no animals, none of the animals should be allowed to suffer, and promote veganism, and monkeys living in the wild, and the wild animals living in the wild, and farmed animals living, as they should, So it's still bizarre to me that it's not all that way, but I'm hopeful that it will be that way soon.
Yeah. And it will. We just need to keep at it, and that is part of the paradigm shift. And as the sanctuaries shift to veganism, then people hear about that. They're fascinated by sanctuaries. Sanctuaries, I think, are some of our greatest light, lighting the way toward a vegan world. So I think it'll happen. But yeah, thank you for trying to make it happen. And keep at it.
There is one program that's out there. It's called Food for Thought, and I think it was started by Animal Place. And what they do is try to encourage vegan food served at animal events that are hosted by animal organizations. So.
Yeah, I think mostly shelters, animal shelters, I believe, dog and cat. Yeah.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
They're one of the hardest to convince, it seems like.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Yeah, and just a little shout out to Marlene. Thank you so much for speaking up and asking a question. A little bird told us that you are Marlene Narrow, who is responsible for the Veg Nation podcast. So we want to thank you so much for joining us today. And we really support your work too.
Oh, thank you very much, all of you. And I also want to say to Kari that I was so happy that she mentioned about the laws, too. She really has a sound solution to everything, both the practical application of her own sanctuary and then her thought processes. And I'm really happy that there is the Humane Party, which, of course, as you know, the presidential candidate, Clifton Roberts. And they are very active with laws for animal rights and abolition. So that's really exciting.
Yeah.
Yes, it is. Yeah, thank you so much. Well, gosh, it looks like we're coming close to the end of our program, and I'm wondering, we usually have like a little prayer or a reading of some sort, and I think, Judy, were you going to be doing that this evening?
I am, yeah. I have in my book, Peaceful All Beings, I have prayers for all different kinds of animals, and Kari and Lisa were thinking maybe it would be relevant to do the ones for the primate nations. And I start out the prayer with a couple of little stories that I think are really neat. And this is on page 213. These are stories about Toto and David Graybeard. Now, a gentleman by the name of Cherry Keaton was very sick with malaria. His friend and companion was a chimpanzee named Toto, and Toto took care of him through his whole illness. He brought him his medicine and books to read. He would figure out which book Cherry wanted by pointing to each book on the shelf until Cherry said yes. Toto stayed by Cherry's side day and night until he recovered. And then Jane Goodall has a story about David Graybeard, who was a chimpanzee. They were sitting together near some water, and Jane spied a ripe fruit on the ground and held it out to David. He glanced at her and took the nut, but then dropped it, and he gently took her hand. And then she says, quote, "He didn't want the nut, but he understood my motivation. He knew I meant well. To this day, I remember the soft pressure of his fingers." So together, Jane and David shared, quote, from her, "a language bridging our two worlds." And I just love those two stories. And here is the prayer. So if you want to close your eyes and just listen, it's a little long, but hopefully you will enjoy it. Oh, sweet, nurturing universe, how blissful it is when our hearts awaken to the mountains and oceans of love. Make us instruments of divine mercy and compassion, for all life is sacred and in need of divine love. Together, we pray for all the primates of the world, the gorillas, chimpanzees, monkeys, baboons, orangutans, and all other primates. Some are suffering in zoos, circuses, and experimental laboratories. Others are being hunted and killed or captured. A few still live in their homelands with their families that are in danger from hunters and habitat loss. We know that they are sacred, perfect, amazing beings, divine expressions of love. We give thanks for this precious journey on earth to share with them. May we be messengers of light. May we pray with all the power we have been given for the highest good for all members of the primate nation, for their liberation from cages, and for their freedom from suffering at the hands of human beings. May we always hold the high watch for them as Toto did for his friends. We hold each one in our loving arms this moment. We kiss their dear foreheads And we bless them again and again with peace and faith for a free and joyful future. Blessed be all our relations.
Judy, thank you so very much. It's so deep and meaningful.
Thanks.
That's part of what we do together in our online gatherings, and is really to create special, meaningful prayers and rituals that relate to being vegan. Because this is who we are. This is part of our network of our souls intertwined. And thank you, Judy, for providing that beautiful, beautiful prayer.
Thanks, Lisa, for inviting me to.
And special thanks to Kari for sharing your journey. We love to hear the way that your spiritual journey wove so nicely together with your animal rights journey, and really appreciate your efforts to just promote veganism in all ways through your sanctuary. Yeah, and thank you for joining us today, too.
Thank you for having me.
This has been wonderful.
And we hope to see all of you in person at our Vegan Spirituality Retreat in April. It will be the 1st and 2nd, and this will be a very special retreat because not only do we have a whole day of programming, including our Blessing of the Animals, we also have we're going to be leading a sanctuary tour to meet some very special monkeys at the sanctuary, and the next day we get to volunteer to help the monkeys in the sanctuary. So it'll be a full weekend of wonderful experiences, and we actually get to visit Mickey's his temple of the universe, and we're going to visit and hear him speak as well. So there's so much fun going on that weekend, and we hope you can join us and take a trip to Gainesville. I'm going to be there, and I think Judy and Kari as well. So we hope you can join us. And if you're curious, the website to learn more about it is idausa.org/retreats. So we're also super excited because half of all of the proceeds will go back to the sanctuary.
Wonderful.
Yay.
And see a question, Lisa. You see the question, they want to know your name, and that is Lisa Levin from In Defense of Animals.
Thank you, Judy, for introducing me. And we do host these vegan spirituality gatherings every month. So we have another one coming up the next month in August, and we're going to have a gal who does a special deep healing. She's going to do a deep healing for vegans if you're willing to join us. And I think it'll be an excellent experience, probably a little more of the meditation type of thing than we do on all of our other calls, but I think it will be deeply healing, and I'll share more about that as well as we'll post a replay link for this online gathering, and we'll send information about the next one coming up. They're always the second Thursday of every month at the same time. So we're just so happy to have this forum to really gather together. This is our own experience of connecting. And the Sustainable Activism Program we also have activism-related webinars too that are the first Thursday of the month, and an activist support group, which is the fourth Thursday of the month. So we could keep you busy every Thursday if you'd like to join us. And we're so excited to just really build a community of vegans who care, of activists who care, and also our vegan spirituality community. So what we like to do at the end of our calls is just to ask everybody to kind of unmute their mics, and then we'll do a group goodbye and just as an effort so we can all kind of be together in our voices and to hear each other. So if you're ready, we'll go ahead and do that. And we really look forward to the next one. And thank you so much, Kari and Judy, for this lovely session today. It was really excellent.
Wonderful. Thank you, Lisa. Thank you, Kari.
Everyone.
Bye, everybody.
Have a wonderful evening, everyone. Good night. Have a wonderful evening. Thanks to everyone for joining us.
Bye,
everyone. Bye. Good night.